All right, hello and welcome to another Whiteboard lesson. Doug with the lincolnlist.com. As always, guys, I got a great topic on tap for everyone today. I'm going to be talking about the most valuable lessons and things I learned during my very first year as a trader. I'm also going to take a moment to talk about my second and third years and the things I experienced then. And as most of you know, I'm now on my 21st year as a trader, so I'm going to do a little flashback and go back and talk about some of the things I went through and the things I experienced. And I hope that helps you grow in your development as a trader. As always, if you like this video, click that you like it. If you want to keep up to date with this channel and other things that I do, such as the happy hours, the market mutterings, and these whiteboards, go ahead and subscribe and show your support for the channel. And I'm also going to post a link up here real quick. This goes directly to the website. I've just now recently updated the educational section. There's over 100 hours of free training content. We have the live trade room and also the live trade feed now. So no matter what level you are as a trader, you can find the education you need there at the lincolnlist.com. Now, one of the reasons I feel this is important is when people come to me, they ask me a very common question. And that question is, how long is it going to take me to become a trader? Now, how long is it going to take me to be a successful trader? And there's no definitive timeline on something like that. That has a lot to do with funding, the time that you can devote, your learning curve, and etc. But I think what I want to talk about today and why I want to bring this up is because all of us traders, I think, even though the time it takes us to go from, let's say, zero to hero, for lack of a better phrase, the time it takes there can vary between trader. But I think what we actually experience as traders is the same thing, these peaks and valleys and these periods of times that we go through. And I'm going to share those with you. Now, I'm not saying this will take you as long as it did me. Maybe some it takes longer, probably not, because I was a really bad trader in the beginning. Most of you will probably be less, but I just want to share with you. So maybe you'll find yourself in a situation where you're in a particular time period that I talk about, and you'll know what to expect or what might be next for you. So let's talk about year number one, my noob years as a trader, okay? I'm going to describe this first as emotion. I went through every emotion known to mankind in the psychological dictionary. Anger, fear, anxiety, sadness, happiness, euphoria. And I went through these emotions like every 2 minutes throughout the day. So when I was first learning, everything was just coming at me at warp speed, and I didn't know how to digest it. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know what to expect from the market. And I would go from these periods where I would make one good trade and I'd say, man, I tell you what, I'm going to be good at this business. And then the very next trade, I would get my ass handed to me. And I'm like, okay, I'm just an idiot. And it would just go back and forth, up and down. A couple good trades, I felt on top of the world. A couple bad trades, I fell flat on my face. And I felt like I was a loser and I was not meant to be here. So I just went like this emotionally, okay? Now, I'm kind of a high-strung person, as most of you might be able to tell. So if you're a little calmer by nature, or you're a little bit more prepared, you know, I had a kind of sort of this naive impression of the market when I first got into it, then you'll be better off. But I went through, I think we all kind of go through these emotions, and it's not uncommon, and there's nothing wrong with feeling like 1 minute you're on top of the world, the next minute you feel like you don't belong here, you're not good enough. I mean, that's just a natural emotion. So I kind of went through that at the very beginning of my career. The phases that I would go through here in this spot was discovery. Okay, so I would spend a lot of this time throughout the first year trying to decide what kind of trader I wanted to be. And the problem that I had is I would never stay with one system. It would work, and then as soon as I had a losing trade, I would jump ship to something else. And I mean, I bought every damn hook, line, and sinker. I bought every sort of thing that I saw market related. So if I saw an ad that says, he's a child prodigy, turning 1,000 into 400 million overnight, I bought it. You know, it was like this ad would pop up and it would say, Wall Street hates this guy. You know, I would buy it, you know, because I just thought there was going to be an easier way. I kept looking for something that was going to be easy and removed a lot of this emotion that kept me from going through this roller coaster. And I would just bounce from system to system to system to system. And as the further I got along with that, I realized that there's no such thing as a perfect system. You know, I went to things like Forex. I went to futures. I tried options. I did like nails on the numbers. I mean, Jesus, what the hell was I thinking? So I went through all of these things, and the thing that I learned about it is you can make money at anything. So when somebody comes to me and says, can I make money at Forex? Yes. Can I make money in cryptocurrencies? Yes. Can I make money in stocks? Yes. Options? Yes. Futures? Yes. Yes, you can make money at anything if you have a process, if you know what it is that you're looking for. You can't do them all, but you can master one of those. You will have to pick one, and that's what this discovery part comes in, is you spend a lot of time trying to discover who you are as a trader. And one of the problems that we have sometimes with that, or the ones that I experienced, was I thought that these emotions that I originally experienced were abnormal, that other traders didn't experience. Other traders didn't throw their computer monitor out the window when they lost on a trade. Just me, Other traders didn't want to run their car off a cliffside and drink a bottle of Jack Daniel's straight after losing a streak. I'm the only one that thinks like that, right? I know that's ignorant, but hey, that's how we feel sometimes. And then what I really learned as the year would progress is that nobody, I don't care who it is, Warren Buffett, greatest person in the world, investor, whoever you want to say, nobody knows what the market's going to do next. Nobody knows shit. They don't know. You have ideas, you have theories, but no one can predict the future. I would sit there and I'd watch CNBC and they would recommend these hot stocks are going to go up. No, they all did not go up. That was just their theory. And this is the problem with that, is that's their theory. That's their strategy. I'm not knocking them as traders. I'm saying that that's their theory. That's their strategy. I don't know what that is. If I don't know what that is, I don't know what you're talking about. So if I tell you right now, I tell you what, Facebook's going to go higher. How do you know that? Is that based on my theory? Am I flipping a coin? Am I just, jerking your chain? What? You don't know that. So you have to have that process, which we'll talk about here in a second. So what I really learned at the very beginning, as so much stuff was being thrown towards me, I went through this whole thing of emotions. And the thing that I took away from most of this is there was a lot of doubt that overcast itself throughout my first year, because that consistency thing was never there. You're always, when you don't have consistency, you naturally get doubt. Doubt makes you start to second guess things. When you start to second guess things, you start passing up on opportunities, you start becoming afraid to lose money, and things start to progressively get worse, and you start to get down on yourself, you start to get in this really poor emotional state, and you're not thinking clearly, and you make even more mistakes. So if you're in a period of doubt and indecision and a lack of consistency, don't feel bad about it. It's something we all have to go through. And if you're going to trade, you're not going to get rich doing this overnight. You can get rich over time, but you're not going to get rich overnight. You're going to have to go through this period of time where you discover who you are as a trader and try to contain those emotions. Now, when we got to year 2, I had finally discovered what that process was going to be, which we've talked about in a lot of these whiteboards before. Like I said, you can make money at anything. Stocks, auctions, foreign currencies, cryptocurrencies, futures, whatever. You can make money at it, but you got to pick something. You got to pick something that you can understand and something that you can work with. So in year number 2, around year number 2, I really decided this is the kind of trader that I am. This is who I am. And by doing that, it eliminated a lot of the emotion, because first thing that left was chasing. Because I always got up every day and I knew what it is I was looking for. Like they say, it's always easy to find it when you know what you're looking for. I always knew what I was looking for. And by doing that, it removed a lot of emotion. Now, when you do that over a period of time throughout that second year, the consistency got better. Now, the reason that the consistency got better with the process is because rather than scattering my brain power around everywhere, I focused on those 1 to 2 setups. And in those 1 to 2 setups, the more screen time I got, I started to understand what I'm going to call, I'm not going to put it down here, is the nuances of the market. The market will go through periods of time where your strategy is perfect. It's uniform and it's in sync with the market. But it's not going to be like that every day, all 12 months of the year. It's going to come and go in spurts. So traders, we go in spurts. We don't just knock it out of the ballpark every damn day. That's the first sign of understanding who's a scam out there. Nobody makes money every freaking day. It's impossible to make money every day in the market with all the variables. So what you do is when you have that process, you start focusing. I started focusing. I started to understand the nuances about the market. So what does this mean in like layman's terms? It means that I knew when it was time for me to double down on my positions because the market was working with my strategy. Then I would know when it wasn't so good and I would have to scale back. I would have to scalp. I would have to change. I didn't have to change the process. I had to change the way I approached the process, if that makes sense, okay? So sometimes you're going to go through wacky situations. Today, for example, as I'm doing this, the Fed just got done with a meeting and the market dives 200 points, then turn around, bounce 250 points. You can't play that. Now, if you did, you got lucky, right? You can't predict that things are just going to go like this every single time. It just doesn't work like that. You have to trade the process. And by doing that, and by consistently doing that, you'll start to find these little small pieces of an edge that you can start to develop with that process that starts to hone it into yours, that takes that win rate from 60 to 70%, up to 80, up to 85%. Now, when it got to the third year, this is where money started coming in for me. And there was longer periods of this consistency. Now back here, when I was focused on the process, I did have consistency, but one problem I did have, I should mention, is I was still in this period of time where one or two losses would clean me out. I wasn't quite letting my gains run long enough back here. Now, one of the reasons traders do that is because they don't trust the process. They don't believe that the stock's going to trade from one level to the next. They haven't quite bought into that theory yet. So they cut their gains short and they hold on to their losers. I was one of them people right there. I did that a lot. And it was those one or two or three big losses that I took would clean out a lot of that consistency. Now, I've talked about that before. That's a very difficult thing for traders to deal with because you get this perception that you can't take losses anymore. And you're never going to make it if that's the thought you have. And I understand because I felt that way because you feel like, look, if I take this loss, I'm not going to make it back. You know, if I eat this now, it's going to take me 25 trades. I'm all in. I got to make it work. And then, you know, things could get really ugly. So when we get back to my third year, money started coming in because the consistency was there. The process itself was more honed. It was better. I knew exactly what I was looking for, and I knew more of the inflection points in the charts and the places that I wanted to be. And in this, I also developed a trust and a patience, okay? Because I knew all I had to do is if things weren't there for me in my process, I didn't have to force it. I knew at some point it was going to come there. I trusted in the market. I trusted in my process. I trusted in myself as a trader. And with the belief that I know I'm still going to have mistakes. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm going to have mistakes, but I was trusting enough that I could avoid that very, very big loss. I would be able to know when that really big loss was there. I could see it. I could have the ego to put away, put it down and say, look, take the loss. Take the loss now. Something will come by tomorrow or the next day or the next day, and things will get better. You'll have better times, and that's when you want to double down. And you'll want to work a little harder. And that's what I did. And with that, things started to improve. And each year, you get a little bit better, you get a little bit better, and you get a little bit better. But the thing to understand here, guys, is every trader goes through this same thing. If you don't doubt yourself, if you are not completely exhausted, and you don't feel like somebody put your brain in a blender and scrambled it up, and you're burnt to a crisp, and you have absolutely no idea what your next move is, you're not a trader. You haven't been there. Everybody, I don't care. I don't care who it is, what they tell you, every single trader has gone through that. Every single one of us has looked ourselves in the mirror and said, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I don't belong here. It's not uncommon. We've said that before. Or if we haven't said it out loud, we've certainly thought about it. Doubt has come into every single one of our minds. And it's just something we all have to deal with. And how you get over doubt is by having that screen time, spending time with that process. And ultimately through these years of working and studying, staying alive, is developing a trust in yourself, your process, a trust and understanding of the market, understanding who you are as a trader and what it is you're trying to gain from making peace with yourself within that market and understanding where your place fits inside of that market and being patient with that whole process. If you do that over time, things will work out for you and you will reach your goals. So anyway, guys, I hope this whiteboard made some sense to you. If you need a little help, as I said, thelincolnlist.com. Trade with us live each day. Until the next one, take care, trade well.